75 years ago, Australia deported thousands of Japanese from its internment and prisoner of war camps. Among them were hundreds of Japanese civilians rounded up in the French territory of New Caledonia and sent to Australia. To this day, their descendants are searching for answers and what happened to their lost relatives.
It's not a Second World War anniversary marked in Australia.
Yellow cargo homeward bound. Japanese civilians from South
Thousands of Japanese deported from Australia to a devastated country.
The mothers and the children, many of whom will be soon seeing Japan for the first time.
75 years ago, Dominic Yanai's great-grandfather Marizo was amongst them.
My eyes were spinning around. I said, where is he? Where is he? Where is he?
This migrant from the French territory of New Caledonia promised his family he'd discover Marizo's story.
The Japanese community in New Caledonia, every descendant of the Japanese, they are still looking.
SBS found this photo, one of two known to exist of Marizo, a migrant worker in New Caledonia for 30 years.
Wow, that's amazing. We've never seen that before, so I can't wait to share with all the family,
In 1941, Australia put thousands of Japanese civilians, some born here, in prison camps. It's the focus of Rowena Ward's research.
They didn't have crimes, really. Their crimes were that they were Japanese. And that is sufficient for justify them being interned.
Gripped by fear of invasion, New Caledonia rounded up 1,100 Japanese and sent them to Australia for internment. Wartime documents trace Marizo's journey to this army camp in Brisbane. These houses and playground on the edge of the Enoggera Army Barracks is where the Gaythorne Detention Centre once stood, and it was from here that Marizo faced an uncertain future in Australia's network of prisoner of war camps. After war's end, Australia began deporting them. But they didn't know what to do with the New Caledonians.
The Australian government contacted French authorities, and the French authorities basically said they didn't want them back and they had to go back to Japan.
That wasn't fair at all.
In 1950, Marizo did return to his New Caledonian family, one of about 10 deportees to make it home. But only 2 months later, tragedy struck. Crucially, before he could reveal what happened in the years he was away.
He's been hit by a car, so after a few months he passed away, so sad, isn't it? Unbelievable.
Dominic now has a few more answers, but for him and many other families, the search goes on. Stefan Armbruster, SBS World News.